So the cantata is called the Lily of Quito.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about how you chose that title and how it's attributed to Santa Mariana?
Yes. So Saint Mariana, Santa Mariana, she is known colloquially in Ecuador as the Lily of Quito. They call her La Azucena de Quito, which means the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just represent her as part of her culture, which is also my shared heritage.
Right.
So that's where that came about, where I named it after how people in Ecuador know her. But there's also a connection with Joaquin Rodrigo, the great 20th century composer. He also wrote an oratorio, which remained unfinished at his death, called La Azucena de Quito. So I had already had it in mind to call this the Lily of Quito, but when I found out that his oratorio, La Azucena de Quito, was literally the same words but in Spanish, that really sold it for me. I was like, oh, let's do like a mirror image. And I reached out to his daughter, Cecilia, who I'd never met, who runs his archives, and I asked for permission to quote the aria from his oratorio, which is such a beautiful aria. It's called La Despedida de Azucena, and means the goodbye, the departure of Azucena. And it's such a beautiful piece of music, which I'm going to perform it on this concert.
Wow. Okay. So we'll get to hear his work.
Yes. And we're going to have a conversation between this amazing composer from the 20th century and my work, and also more of his pieces on the program. And so Cecilia gave me permission to quote the aria in my cantata.
Wow.
And so the beginning, the first tableau takes a fragment of that aria and closes the tableau with them. And so that's how that came about, of calling it the Lily of Quito, was taking her actual name as the people know her, but then also in conversation with Joaquin Rodrigo's sister from oratorio. And my cantata is in his archives in Spain, in Madrid.
Wonderful. So they're very interwoven.
Yeah.
These two works are completely interwoven.
Yeah. And that's all thanks to his beautiful daughter, Cecilia. I didn't ask her to do that. She very graciously just gave me permission to use part of the aria as a quote in my own piece. And I did I wanted to honor her, that's the reason, because I was like, wow, this is so nice that he did a full work on my relative. And I was really touched by that, because I'd never heard of any work by any major composer broaching her as a topic. So I was very thankful. And that's why I wanted to put him in there as a thank you, for honoring her. And then Cecilia was so generous, where she was like, I'm going to put your cantata in the archive next to my father's oratorio. So I want to say thank you to Cecilia and Rodrigo for that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful co-honoring of each other.
Yeah.
Her works. Yeah.
So it's October 28th here in New York City at the amazing and beautiful Church of St. Ignatius Loyola, 980 Park Avenue.